I came to GAW with one thing in mind: knock Jay White down. I got to know him on my journey around the world, and there would be nothing worse for wrestling than Jay White becoming a champion in a major promotion. But then Drew McIntyre had to get involved.
McIntyre to the ring, Claymore! McIntyre got this match thrown out!
This is a guy who has a future. He's been a champion here and one of the most celebrated champions in the world. He decides to attach himself to a bottom feeder? Drew McIntyre will get his too. You see, my name will live forever. Jay White will not. Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friday Night Storm. We begin in the ring with this four-way dance. Jessamyn Duke, Marina Shafir, Kairi Sane, and Shayna Baszler. And here is the announcement, folks. The winner of this four-way dance will go on to fight Charlotte Flair for #1 contendership to Bianca Belair's U.S. title. We'll hear from Bianca coming up next. This is going to be an insane match, and I'll tell you what else. The fact that Damian Martinez is here and has set his sights on Jay White, and he is making no bones about it. Just come out and said, Jay White is the man that I wanted to fight in GAW. Cover here from Kairi Sane, and a kick out. Four-way dance rules. Of course, elimination. Pinfall or submission must happen in the ring. No disqualifications. Knee strike from Shayna Baszler, and Duke kicks out. Jessamyn Duke, former challenger for Dakota Kai's World Championship. That was a few weeks ago right here on Friday Night Storm. That was Dakota Kai's first official defense of the belt after she beat Asuka for it at Nitro 10. And now Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir teaming up against Shayna Baszler. Here comes Kairi Sane back into the ring. Sane's been looking good as of late. Shayna Baszler, ever since she left the Blue Bloods with Ronda Rousey, and we haven't really seen her much around here. She's returned to the MMA ranks, had a professional fight recently. Here she is back in general admission wrestling. Series of gut-wrench bombs from Baszler, and then a sliding forearm from Sane, and there's a spear from Jessamyn Duke. Shafir out of the ring, going underneath, looking for a weapon, and Duke stops her in her tracks. No disqualification, as I say. Bianca Belair became U.S. champion at Bash at the Beach when she beat the former champ Tegan Knox, member of Team Kick. And Belair was overjoyed to have won that title. Certainly a surprise. I did not believe that of all the different titles that could have changed hands, that would have been the one. Kairi Sane with a Michinoku driver on the outside. Sane has just laid waste to the women in this match. To her feet comes Baszler, and Kairi Sane now starting to figure out who she wants to get back in this ring to try to make an elimination. Turns her attention to Jessamyn Duke, and we got a cloverleaf here from Kairi Sane. Jessamyn Duke is tapping out. Now, obviously, the submission has to come in the ring, but I think the idea for Kairi Sane is just to assert her will. She's the smallest woman in this match, so she probably feels like she needs to assert her will on the other women here. And given that we have a pile of bodies in that area, all created by Kairi Sane, I think she's certainly done that. As I mentioned, we'll hear from Bianca Belair coming up after this match. I'm excited to see what she has to say. Now Kairi Sane goes for a cover, middle of the ring. Shayna Baszler kicks out. Baszler challenged for the World Championship when Asuka was the champion back in Season 1. So if you weren't around for that, then you'll forget when Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey absolutely terrorized General Admission Wrestling. And now Baszler with a Kirifuda clutch locked in on Jessamyn Duke. Duke fighting valiantly to try to get out of this, and she cannot. First elimination of the match goes to Shayna Baszler's Kirifuda clutch. Absolutely brutal. And now she has made a statement that you gotta watch out for the Kirifuda clutch. When she fought Asuka for the World Championship. The clutch was banned. It was a no-holds-barred. It was a no-holds-barred match, but the Kirifuda clutch was banned. And so Baszler was not able to defeat Asuka, who ended up using her armbar to get the win. And now Marina Shafir drives the elbow right into the throat of Shayna Baszler, and Shafir looking to shock everyone by winning this fall, and she does. Shayna Baszler eliminated. So that's 2 former challengers to the World Championship eliminated in quick succession. And now here is a 3rd former challenger to the world title, Kairi Sane, going at it with Marina Shafir. Sane has been unstoppable in this match, but didn't notch either of the 2 eliminations up to this point, even though she's probably a big reason that both of them happened. If you want to take a look at the whole history of the World Championship for the men and the women, then just head on over to generaladmissionwrestling.com. You can see full histories of all of our titles dating all the way back to 2005. And so you'll see Shayna Baszler's challenge for the World Championship at Winterfest 2020. Came up short in that one. Kairi Sane with 3 separate challenges to the World Championship later in 2020 as well. I don't think you're going to beat Shafir with the striking. Former member of the women's 4 horsemen in mixed martial arts. Oh my God, the Hurricane from Kairi Sane just levels her, and I might have been wrong, no. Marina Shafir kicks out. Spinning back fist absolutely puts her to sleep. Kairi Sane still in this thing. Shafir trying to answer back, strike caught by Sane. And now Shafir, nice snapmare takedown. Trying to drive a little pressure into the neck of the smaller Kairi Sane. And Sane has been performing really well as of late. We saw her really struggle in season 1, and now Shafir dives in, and Shafir transitions into a knee bar. That is absolutely beautiful. As Shafir cranking back with the knee locked of Kairi Sane, and Sane, she's got the rope in front of her. Can she reach it? Shafir ends up letting the hold go. We've seen several wrestlers do it. Is it going to be a mistake? It might very well be. Oh, it could very well be. Kairi Sane, cloverleaf, and she sits back on it, and Marina Shafir cannot reach the ropes. Shafir taps out. Kairi Sane will fight Charlotte Flair for U.S. title #1 contendership. Marina Shafir made the mistake of letting that knee bar go. Kairi Sane beats Shafir in singles action back on episode 9 of Storm. And Sane beats her again, technically getting 2 tap outs from that cloverleaf, but we won't count that first one. There's the Kirifuda clutch for the first elimination. Then Marina Shafir eliminates Shayna Baszler, and then Kairi Sane with the cloverleaf eliminates Marina Shafir. It'll be Sane versus Flair. Winner goes on to face Belair, and speaking of the champion, she is standing by backstage. I never thought that I'd be in a position to win the U.S. title at Bash at the Beach. You get told as kids to always work hard and do your best and things will work out, but I never believed it would happen like this. All I can say is I don't respect Tegan Nox for the way she carried herself as champion. And when you look at what this belt represents, I want to give it a purpose. I look forward to defending my title at After Party. Whoever wants it can come get it right now. I am the EST of the USA now, and ain't nobody taking that away. Well, you heard the champ allude to it, and we are proud to announce the return of General Admission Wrestling After Party coming up on May 28th in Miami, Florida. Can't wait for that to happen as we return to the state that saw Bash at the Beach. We know that we will see Belair versus either Charlotte Flair or Kairi Sane. What else might we see at GAW After Party coming up in 3 weeks? We'll have to find out. Rey Fenix and Pentagon, the Lucha Brothers, And Phoenix now in singles action today, where we know both of these men are very, very effective as singles competitors. Only one match as a tag team in GAW, and it came on the first episode of GAW Dark when they dominated British Strong Style for 15 minutes, and then Tyler Bate somehow shockingly managed to get the win. That's what we've seen of the Luchas so far this year. Tag team champions in season 1, albeit for a short period of time and only from the cheating of the Evil Alpha. Let's see if Rey Fenix can make a name for himself as a singles guy. We saw TMDK last week beating British Strong Style, and afterwards TMDK announced that they were going back after the Usos for the tag team championships. Now Shane Thorne enters into singles competition for only the second time in season 2 with Nick Miller in his corner. The mighty Don't Kneel have to be respected for what they've been able to do as a team in season 2, completely reinventing themselves. And Shane Thorne, this would be a big moment for him to win his second singles match in season 2 against a guy with the pedigree of Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix obviously has a tremendous background as a singles wrestler, far more so than Shane Thorne does, so this is going to be a challenge for Thorne. But I don't know if anyone in GAW has improved as much as Shane Thorne and Nick Miller over the last year. Thorne has begun using all of his physical gifts to his full advantage, which is something he's really struggled with in the past. He's always been so athletic, but the question is, can you use that? Are you able to actually leverage that athleticism? And so far, he's been able to do it. Rey Fenix has no trouble leveraging his athleticism. We'll see how much, by the way, Penta and Nick Miller get involved here. I would expect that Nick Miller will make his presence felt in this match sooner rather than later. But ultimately, professional wrestling does come down to the physical contest between these two guys in the ring. So how does that shake out? That is the question, and Nick Miller has to watch his tag team partner get introduced to a new friend. The top turnbuckle pad, not a friend to many, and certainly not to Shane Thorne. Into the corner he goes, and Rey Fenix is looking really good right now. Shane Thorne fights his way out of that corner. You can tell the experience advantage is there for Phoenix in singles matches, but Nick Miller leveraging his advantage, keeping Rey Fenix away from the attack on Shane Thorne. And Thorne caught Rey Fenix, and Thorne brings him down. Flatliner. Phoenix took his eye off the prize, and that's all you need. Lariat unleashed by Shane Thorne, and Penta is not going to risk a potential 3 count right now. Penta stops the referee from making the count. And good thing he did too. Rey Fenix may not have survived that. Out of the ring goes Shane Thorne. Referee keeping a close eye on Nick Miller as he should, and Rey Fenix underneath the bottom rope sends him flying with that drop kick. Nick Miller picking up Shane Thorne, getting him to his feet, and referees in GAW are very willing to let things like that go. And Shane Thorne from behind, clothesline from down under. Just like that, Shane Thorne buries him with the clothesline, and now Thorne with the leg hooked. Rey Fenix kicked out. Thorne can't believe it. Phoenix somehow kicks out of the big clothesline. Right to the back of the neck. The whole point of that is so you lose feeling in your upper body and you're not able to move your shoulders. That's why he hits you there. Rey Fenix somehow withstands, and that again is the ability of Rey Fenix, what he's so good at doing. We've seen it more than once before. And now Phoenix with it. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Phoenix with a DDT. There's an LED board right there. Oh my God. Shane Thorne, I can't believe he's still moving. I guess that's repayment for Phoenix kicking out of the clothesline, and now Thorne hits him with another big one, drops Rey Fenix, and nothing Pentagon can do. Shane Thorne with that running clothesline now for the second week in a row has used that to beat an opponent, and after it became clear that the clothesline from Down Under was the big move of Shane Thorne, suddenly something else has entered the arsenal of one of the most dangerous tag team wrestlers in GAW. Shane Thorne picks up his second singles win and over a man with the pedigree of Rey Fenix. And that is not something you can shake a stick at. Rey Fenix has been champion all over the world, and Shane Thorne picks up the singles win.
Hey,
now,
we got one word for you boys. Scared. You scared of us. You scared of the smoke. You even scared of being champion. Being champion ain't all about money and fame. If it was, we wouldn't be doing it. It's about grinding, working, dominating, which we know you boys can't do. Not against anyone worth a damn. Sorry, Viking Experience War Raider machine. And we've been in this situation before where we gotta smoke out a problem quick. And we know how to do it. So at After Party, it's gonna be TMDK versus the Usos. Falls count anywhere. And we'll show you what we're about. Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary, boys. And it's not paranoia. Well, add Usos versus TMDK for the growing match card at GAW After Party on May 28th. But I'll tell you what, coming up next week, Aleister Black is going to get himself an opponent for After Party as Walter takes on Cody Rhodes for #1 contendership to the World Championship. That's coming up next Friday on Storm. Here is another tag team that has not been able to topple the Usos in the past year and a half. British Strong Style. And just like the previous two teams, it is just one of them that will be competing here tonight. Tyler Bate in singles action, but Pete Dunne coming out with it, which is actually not something we've generally seen. Tyler Bate has had several singles matches over the past weeks and months, and usually Pete Dunne does not come with him, but in this particular case, I think Dunne might have felt that it was necessary. I don't really know. So maybe he'll be able to help Tyler Bate go up against the extremely dangerous Matt Riddle, because that is who Tyler Bate needs to face tonight. And maybe Pete Dunne really understands the implications here, understands what Tyler Bate is facing in Matt Riddle, who has now become one of the most dangerous men in general admission wrestling. Pete Dunne understands that better than anyone, given his history with Matt Riddle, the former original bro. Certainly not that anymore. So Tyler Bate will have to dig down deep to beat someone as deadly as Matt Riddle. So Riddle comes in having picked up a win over Matt Hardy on last Wednesday's episode of Dark. That was the main event, and Riddle just laid waste to the former Intercontinental Champion, the former Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion. Matt Riddle hits him with the go to sleep, and it is exactly as advertised. It sent Matt Hardy to sleep, and Riddle looks as dangerous as ever, a man who fought Aleister Black for the World Championship just a month ago, a singles match against Walter, and this is all since a last man standing match at Nitro 10. This guy is tough as nails, and this is going to be a really tough test for Tyler Bate.
So let's see what Riddle can bring to the table here against the big, strong boy. And immediately, both of them try to get started off hot. I think Matt Riddle caught him with the knee in the air. We talk all the time about how Matt Riddle has really started to use his knees as serious weapons. You can see that he's added some plastic-coated pads onto his knees as well, just to increase the impact of them, and they have become such weapons. The go to sleep, we've seen him use an extremely brutal knee drop that he aims right at the bridge of the nose. Its whole goal is to just break the nose. We've seen how good Matt Riddle can really be and how dangerous he can really be given his MMA background. So Tyler Bate, he's gonna have to work hard here. Riddle out of the corner, that's an elbow, educated one right to the face, and now Riddle with an arm-trapped exploder, and he bridges it. First question of Tyler Bate, and Bate is able to kick out. So what are in the long-term plans for Matt Riddle? That's gonna be the question. Bate comes in, somersault kick, catches Riddle in the forehead with the heel, the hardest part of your foot, and Matt Riddle, it's his turn to kick out, and he does. What is the plan for Matt Riddle going forward? That's the question. And truthfully, I don't know, and I haven't heard anything, so maybe Matt Riddle himself doesn't know. You know, he fought for the World Championship and came up short, so what else is there to do? What can he do other than pretty much what he's doing right now, facing some extremely tough opponents and getting wins, and that's what he's all about. Riddle, nice takedown. That's the MMA background of Matt Riddle, former UFC competitor. Up onto the shoulders goes Bate, and Matt Riddle, go to sleep. Well, he can pull that out of just about anywhere, can't he? Leg hooked, Matt Riddle, second straight win. I mean, what can you say? Matt Riddle, he makes it as easy as anyone else. And Tyler Bate, you gotta say that he never stood a chance in this type of match against this type of opponent. Go to sleep, aided by the plastic pads on his knee braces, which I cannot believe referees allow him to wear in GAW, but you know what? If the refs allow it, then it's allowed. And Matt Riddle, second straight win via the go to sleep. So what are his plans now? That's going to be the question going forward, but I don't think anyone wants to see Matt Riddle in the ring right now. Coming up next week on Friday Night Storm, we got a big show, and it will include Ronda Rousey back in action. We saw Rousey attacked last week, laid out presumably by Dakota Kai, the Women's World Championship, and Ronda Rousey will be back when she takes on LAX's Rosita. I cannot wait for that. Backstage now, we've got Nick Gray interviewing Cody Rhodes ahead of Cody's main event match. Cody, the whole world was talking about how you responded to Walter somehow justifying attacking a referee last week. Now we know you'll be fighting Walter for #1 contendership to the world title. How do you feel going into that match? I gotta be honest, I didn't have an angle when I spoke to Walter last week. I'm passionate about what I do, and I know how hard those officials work to put food on their table, and I think it's abhorrent that Walter would try to take that away because he's bitter about what happened in that match. But now I get the opportunity to show him physically what it's like to disrespect a man like that. Walter, you better watch out. Because Cody, thanks for speaking out like you did. But I have to warn you, I know firsthand what Walter can do to a man in the ring. You'll need more than just motivation to beat him. And now that we know that he's lost all his morals, who knows what he might do tonight. So let me go out there with you and watch your back in case Walter tries something. Well, the world champion, apparently true to his word, comes out here with Cody Rhodes. And credit to Aleister Black for committing to come out here and watch Cody's back. Black knows exactly what it means to have someone as dangerous as Walter coming after you, not only because Black has now been in this situation as a two-time world champion, but also because Black was the guy. He was teamed up with those kinds of guys that would get involved in matches like this, that would try to hurt potential opponents when Black was turned by the evil forces of Alpha back in season 1. So Cody Rhodes, he has a hell of a wingman in his corner for this one. Zack Sabre Jr., a member of the Mob, although probably not the one that Conor McGregor takes so much pride in. McGregor went out of his way to remove CM Punk from the group and do it violently in an Irish street fight at Bash at the Beach. But Zack Sabre Jr., he's been part of the Mob this whole time, but he's kind of been like a proxy member, just hasn't done much with the group. It's really been about Conor McGregor and Bobby Lashley since that group formed. But Zack Sabre Jr. in a main event match against a man that we now know is going to fight Walter for #1 contendership to the World Championship. This would be a big win for Zack Sabre Jr. if he is to get it here, and certainly would impress his Mob bosses, if you will, in Conor McGregor and Bobby Lashley. So let's see if ZSJ can get the job done. I think it can be said that Aleister Black will not get involved in this match. Does Cody Rhodes have what it takes? We know Rhodes has been so good over the past 6 months in GAW and has just fallen short on each and every occasion. But he took legends like Kazuchika Okada to the brink, famously kicked out of a Rainmaker Trouble in Paradise combination. An unbelievable moment at last year's Winterfest that Cody Rhodes, I think, will be remembered forever for doing. Beautiful crossbody from Rhodes. Into the corner goes ZSJ, and Rhodes comes in with the splash. Zack out of the way. Again, Aleister Black there, watching Rhodes, making sure that Walter does not get himself involved. Black knows the threat that Walter presents to every member of General Admission Wrestling. He knows it all too well. Rhodes, with his amateur background, is a tremendous in-ring technical wrestler. One of the best that you will ever find, but Zack Sabre Jr. may be one that can test it, and Sabre with a Frankensteiner. There is Rhodes trying to dig into that showmanship a little bit, and Zack Sabre Jr. made him pay. Sabre very smartly pulled Rhodes away from the rope just enough. Single leg camel clutch rather. Cody Rhodes up and comes in. Beautiful strike. Up to his feet goes ZSJ, and Cody Rhodes into the fireman's carry, and Sabre comes down behind. Nice reverse DDT. Aleister Black may be looking at his next World Championship opponent here. It's very possible, so you know that Black does not have any kind of motivation in this one, but you got to think that maybe it's there. Zack Sabre Jr. transitions, cattle mutilation locked in. Aleister Black just watching it happen here as Cody Rhodes trying to fight his way out of it, and look at the core strength of the American Nightmare. How well done was that? Fights his way out of it. And you can see Aleister Black kind of rooting for Cody Rhodes as well. These two have been friends for a long time now, Black and Rhodes, and so Aleister Black, rooting for his friend here. The two of them have been all around the world together. Cody Rhodes, beautiful disaster right off the middle rope. Beautifully done as well from Cody, and now into the cover, and ZSJ kicks out. Cody Rhodes feels like he could have won the match right then and there, and now Rhodes, and that's Walter's music. That's Walter's music. Walter's come over the barricade. He's trying to get into the ring. There is Aleister Black. Black did exactly what he said he was going to do. Black Mass. Black Mass. Beautifully done. Cody Rhodes, crossroads, and Cody Rhodes, he's almost done. He is almost done, but he crawls over, makes the cover, and Cody Rhodes survives this match as Walter tried to get involved. Walter did his best to get involved in this match, and Cody Rhodes, with the help of Aleister Black, one of the smartest men in this company, he knew what was going to happen. He knew that Walter was going to get himself involved, and he knew that that's why he needed to be here. The world champion, Aleister Black, looking like an absolute genius right now, as Cody Rhodes somehow fights through, and Rhodes is going into his match with Walter to become #1 contender on a high note. What a performance from Cody Rhodes, and Aleister Black helped him do it. Rhodes thanking the world champion. Aleister Black knows that he just saved a man from a vicious attack by Walter. Folks, thank you so much for joining us here. Join us next week when we see that #1 contenders match, as well as former U.S. champion Ronda Rousey returning after a brutal attack from Dakota Kai. And of course, check out our website, generaladmissionwrestling.com, for full recaps of every show as they happen. Never miss a minute. We appreciate you.